Hi, my name is Jessica Shaw, and this video is for Dr. Robinson. So this is on critical interventions with vulnerable populations on a local, statewide, countrywide, international scope. I'll start with international for vulnerable populations. What first comes to mind would be poverty. Access to food and clean water. I have a friend that works in water systems, and clean water is like the biggest issue on an international scale. More people die of not having access to clean water than anything else in the world. Actually, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are doing a lot with their foundation on it. So putting in clean water systems, helping people get access to, whether that would be a well or, sewage or, whatever contemporary systems. Bill Gates is actually trying to build a small system that these scientists basically, you can poop into it and it turns it into steam, and then you can use the water to either drink it or water your plants. But some people have to walk as far as 5 to 10 miles a day to get water, or they will get diphtheria or all these crazy diseases and die. So water and poverty obviously come first to mind. Most of the world's population lives under $1 a day. So $1 a month actually. So they don't have the nourishment they need for their bodies. They don't have access to health care. So people die of completely preventable diseases on a regular basis. Part of it would be getting out preventable medications, whether that would be immunizations to children. That would be a good start for preventable on an international level, as well as clean water systems and food, and education. A lot of women in third world countries, especially some Middle Eastern countries and some Muslim run countries, do not have access to education because women don't have they're not afforded the same rights there. So on an international scope, that would be education. Also, children are utilized as workers in different areas, in less industrialized, more farmland. So their families need them to work. So that would be another lack of access to education as well. On a United States, more, our country issue, poverty. Poverty obviously comes to mind. Violence in inner cities, kids being exposed to gun violence, so how do you mitigate that? Tighter gun restrictions for people with mental health issues, domestic abuse, PFAs, that's policy change. Poverty, you change the social policy reforms, you get people access to more TAMF, better access to higher wages for a living wage. In regards to our community, voting in, how can we make our economy better? Voting change comes through policy and legislation. So, the first thing that you can actually advocate for change is by voting. Social workers go into at-risk communities and, they help them to get resources, connect them to resources. So that would be more on like a micro level versus a macro level. Macro would be like the international and the United States on the whole, whereas Allegheny County would be the micro level. So they help people get to local resources, local food banks, their local TAMF for food stamps. They help them to get to wellness centers where they don't need health insurance to get health care. So there's a lot of ways, they can help them get to domestic abuse shelters. They can help them, there's a lot of different areas where social services can afford resources, and you know, it just depends on what help the person needs. So um, that that's all. Thank you.